fired up. It's made a great decision.
Great teammates, coaches, and other people who want to be Super Bowl champions. And we are. We're going to do it this year.
And we're going places because we want to go places.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are back with another little all-22 look for our Detroit Lions against the Philadelphia Eagles. And you probably saw it by the title. Today, we're going to be focusing on 3 players specifically. That includes, of course, our top draft pick in this past year's draft, Aidan Hutchinson. I really want to follow along how he does throughout the season. We can do this in multiple games this year, but this was his NFL debut. So I wanted to take a look at how he played in his NFL debut, some of the good, some of the bad, and all of the in-between, of course. With that being said, though, I'm not showing every single play that he was in. He was in 69 snaps defensively. I'm not showing each one. We'll be here all day. We already got a lot of clips to take a look at, so I won't be doing that. As well as Malcolm Rodriguez, wearing the number 44. You guys see him in the game. He actually did start this game. This is the first defensive play against Eagles, so he did start. Played a lot of snaps at linebacker position. Not all of them, but he played a lot of them. So we're going to take a look at his debut as well. And finally, that guy at the bottom, you can see him. He's number 1. That's Jeff Okudah. No, this is not his NFL debut, but it's been so darn long since we've seen him play that I really wanted to focus on him, and I actually thought he did a pretty good job in this game, and he played for most of the game. Will Harris had to step in a little bit there because he said he was dealing with cramps, but for the most part, he was out there. So those 3 players specifically, I wanted to focus on in this video. We did our takeaways video. We showed some clips in there as well, but I really wanted to focus on these 3 guys. All right, so we're going to do that in this one. From each quarter, we have multiple clips, and this first play is the first play defensively for the Lions. It wasn't great. We gave up 8 yards, but I want to just kind of focus on Aidan Hutchinson here because this will kind of set up what happens a little bit later in the game as he continues to kind of settle in. And of course, we know the Philadelphia Eagles, they're a heavy zone read team, which means the quarterback can pull it, he can take off with it, and that's exactly what he does here. So they're going to run a little split zone against us, which means they're going to pull this tight end across, and he's going to try to pick up the edge guy. Well, Aidan Hutchinson, of course, as we know, you got to be very disciplined to contain because Jalen Hurts will pull the ball down and he'll take off. And on this play, he does just that. So Aidan Hutchinson fires off. He goes right towards the running back and Jalen Hurts pulls down. Now, it was also good play design because they're going to kind of have Dallas Goedert pinned down Derek Barnes, but he doesn't take any of the tight end here, so he's going to have kind of a free lane to go get Amani Oruwariye here on the outside, and it's really well done by the offense, and they pick up 8 yards. You can see Amani's got no chance there against the tight end. So that's the first play. Kind of wanted to set the table, as Aaron Glenn said, that he felt like they would be more assignment disciplined going into their next game, and they were kind of juiced up, I guess, because it was their first game, which makes sense, but it feels like they're going to be much more assignment sound in our next game. Now I'm going to do it like this because I tried to do it the other way and the quality came out bad, so hopefully the quality looks a lot better since we're doing it like this. Now this second play, I kind of touched on it when we did our takeaways video, and of course this is one of the early plays in this game. You see Alex and Malcolm are basically covering the same guy on this play. Admittedly, their offensive line said they had some struggles picking up some of the looks that the Lions were throwing at them, and there were multiple free rushing plays by the Lions. We just didn't really take advantage of many of those. We had some opportunities we weren't able to. Of course, Jalen's ability to just take off, he bailed them out of some of these plays, and this is an example. You have a free Aidan Hutchinson rusher on this play. Now it looks like the Lions are going to go into some man coverage here, and you can see Alex Anzalone and Malcolm Rodriguez are basically covering both. They're both covering the running back out of the flat here, and when that happens, of course against man, there's no one to watch Jalen Hurts, and you can see Alex kind of sees it late and he's like, oh snap. Now remember, Dan Campbell told us that Malcolm Rodriguez did not miss an assignment in this game. So I look at Alex on this one and be like, okay, that's probably not good. He takes off. He picks up a big first down for them. And that was a lot of this game. That's why discipline, we talked about it so much. It was like the Lions just got to stay assignment sound in this game, because if they can do that, man, they did a lot of things to themselves, a lot of things that they hurt themselves with defensively in this one. Then you also have Aidan Hutchinson getting some pressure. He's going to go against an offensive guard. This is another one of those alignments that the Lions used. Charles Harris next to Aidan Hutchinson. I loved it. There was one time, actually it may have been this time, where you actually get that free rusher. Yeah, no, they had a free rusher at one point for John Kaminsky. Aidan Hutchinson, though, working against the guard. He loves to utilize that bull rush, and he had some good success against it, especially on the interior, but really from everywhere in this game he has success. This was an early play where he had a lot of success. You can see the boom, just the push into the backfield, getting pressure. Again, just not able to come up with the sack, and the Lions defensively are again in man coverage, which means means no one really has their eyes on the quarterback aside from their safety Deshaun Elliott, who's going to drop out, and also Tracy Walker, but they're not really in a spot to make a play on the football, and there you go, Jalen Hurts takes off. So it's good pressure, you beat the guard, that's awesome, but at the same time on a 3rd and long, he picks up a first down. That's not ideal, and I think the Lions, adjusted a little bit to that. Looking for Aidan Hutchinson on this play, so we just talked about the bull rush. Let's take a look at Aidan Hutchinson. Oh, he looked like a statue there. Let's take a look at him, but then also take a look, just kind of peek out Jeff Okudah. It's just a little thing, but just notice like how locked in he is throughout the play. This guy doesn't like stand up and like, oh, it's not going my way, I'm just kind of done. Just watch Okudah on this one. Look how locked in he is the entire play. This ball is away from him. Look at him. He is locked in. I love it, Jeff. I love it. He's locked in. But with that being said, look who forces him out of the pocket. It's old number 97. I know he didn't show up in the stat sheet really, but you see plays like this and you're like, yeah, he can get pressure, okay? Again, going to that bull rush. You could see it. Oh, he used this at Michigan a ton, right? The speed, the power. He can get off the line very quickly, and he's using it here against Lane Johnson. I loved that matchup much more, Lane Johnson against Hutch, than I liked Hutchinson against their left tackle, Mailata. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I like Charles going against him much more. Well, here they have him against Lane Johnson, and boom, you can see some of the push. Jalen forced out of the pocket. He's going to end up just basically throwing this play away. So give some credit there to Aidan Hutchinson. He didn't get to the quarterback, but he did get some initial pressure. This play was awesome. I heard this one, of course, because I was just listening to Dan Miller's call, but it was an awesome play by Okudah, and you know what, he is just such a technically sound player, and it can lead to some awesome rest for Okudah. He's a really nuanced press coverage corner, like we talked about in our video breaking down these cornerbacks coming into the year. He hadn't played a ton, but he really came in like that his rookie season. Like, this guy can press. He just has a couple little issues that will pop up, and it can give up big plays. But here he is against DeVonta. He felt like he held his own, and look at him here. Look at him get on top of the route, and then as soon as DeVonta turns his head, slows up his route, he puts his eyes back to the quarterback. Honestly, should not have thrown this ball, because he trusted, hey, maybe my guy one-on-one, right? That's a matchup I like. We got one-on-one here. You have a screen over here with potential numbers, right? It's 3-on-3, so you could throw that. He says, okay, I'm going with a one-on-one, and Jeff Okudah was having none of it. Also, you had a free rusher in Charles Harris, which does not help, and Okudah's right there. Pass breakup, awesome play, and that actually leads to, I think, a 4th down play, and Amani comes back and breaks up the next one. I have a tunnel screen. Philly ran a lot of these in this game. The Lions actually had some success in this game, especially as it went on. They did some 7-man rushes. They had some success against these screens. They're going to try to hit the Lions with one here, and it works well because they're going against zone coverage. The creativity of this play, a fast motion left with the running back, pulls to Alex Anzalone, and it's going to pull Malcolm Rodriguez and just get them flowing that way. You get what looks like a fake because he's pointing that direction. All of a sudden, here you go, receiver just slipped through like he's going to be blocking for the running back, but instead he's actually catching the ball and they're blocking for the receiver. It's an incredible play design. Give them a lot of credit. Malcolm's unable to come up with a tackle. He had a few missed tackles in this game, but that's what we know of Malcolm. Like, again, he doesn't have the best length, so he really needs to get his hands on the guy. But if he does, he's usually never missing the tackle. It's just, again, he struggles a little bit with some length. That's a tough tackle to make, and he ends up picking up a nice gain. A.J. Brown on the tunnel screen that they run. This one actually was a flag. So originally I actually thought this one was legit. It didn't count. So technically he actually didn't give up this reception, but I thought I would point it out. You could see how both cornerbacks are playing this one. Eyes to the quarterback. He ends up getting in Okudah's blind spot and kind of sitting it down. That's really tough for a cornerback. It's a good play by DeVonta, but that one actually got called back because of a flag. I just thought I would at least showcase it. This one. All right, look at this. Look at the jam off the line. I feel like this is an advantage against some of these quicker receivers, especially DeVonta, his build. Okudah's ability to press him off the line, throw off his routes. He did it a couple times. Amani tried it as well. Now, Amani had one whiff on A.J. Brown, which led to a reception. We'll actually take a look at that. You can see the jam. He gets a little bit behind, but then kind of just slow plays it behind DeVonta Smith on this one. And, of course, it leads to Jalen Hurts just taking off. So nice to see him back on the field. Lions are going to go to a cover 2 situation here. Watch Okudah. He's going to squeeze this route inside. Boom. He's going to squeeze it. I love to see that. And also Malcolm Rodriguez, man. So you look how he plays this. He's just such a disciplined linebacker that you feel like you just know he's gonna be where he's supposed to be. He feels like a vet in that sense. Like, you can trust him. All right, he's gonna work the seam. He's gonna pass it off to the safety. He gets good depth. And then of course you have this underneath flat route that they throw, and he and Okudah both get over there. Still a nice little pickup. Malcolm Rodriguez, as we said, he just has great movement skills, and really the only guy that's kind of comparable in the linebacker group is Alex Anzalone in terms of his agility and things like that. This is the one where you can see Amani Thomas Green whiffs on his press attempt, and it leads to kind of that hole between him and the safety, and they pick up the completion. Will Harris is also in at this point. Also, you see Will Harris on the bottom here. He does this. It's pretty clean, actually, how he's able to get flipped around, get his head back to the ball, and get in good position. Meanwhile, the little underneath route can kind of get Amani held up a little bit. But watch him. Initially, he jumps up for the play action, but his ability to kind of gather himself and then get depth in coverage where Jalen isn't going to throw that pass, and he also had Amani open. But that's just kind of the athleticism that Malcolm Rodriguez has. Malcolm Rodriguez, again, I like it because when he gets his hands with someone, the way that he tackles, how reliable he is, and he hits. There was actually a play in this game, I don't think I have it saved or time stamped, but there was a run that they did in a red zone situation, like inside the 5, and of course the center got up out on Kelsey, and he did what we saw in the preseason. He just hip tossed the guy, and it's like he plays with that mentality. He doesn't really do anything towards the play, but that's just how he competes. Like, he just tossed the center. It's incredible. But here he is. I like the movement skills from him, his ability to drop and move in coverage, but then also this open field tackle. They give up like 5-6 yards on this play, but it's a pretty nice tackle. I also liked how they used Derek Barnes kind of on the edge a little bit in this game. Kind of takes you back to his Purdue roots a little bit, but you see the movement, seams, gets underneath, and look at this tackle in space. This is a good tackle. He gets his hands on him, wraps him up. Kenneth Gainwell limits the gain on that play. Here we are inside the 10-yard line. We're going to take a look at multiple clips like this. This is some run defense. A lot to like, I think, on this play specifically. First off, let's start with Aidan Hutchinson on this play. You can see he's working against the well, you would think it's the right tackle, but they actually adjusted their formation. The Lions do this too. They overload one side with offensive linemen. So they have 4 offensive linemen on the left. They put their tackle over there, and in his place, they put the tight end. You got to watch for little things like that. They can kind of blend in. So this is a matchup that you anticipate, okay, Hutchinson's going to win this matchup, right? On the backside, he should win this, take care of business. That was kind of fire. And look, that's exactly what he does. Okay, he wins that, takes care of business. Okay, you see he gets up on the shoulder and he's just able to shut him off. But specifically, let's take a look at the linebackers and how they played this. Malcolm and Alex and how they play on this play. Okay, look at these two guys. You also got Elliott out here. So first thing, Malcolm, he's going to try to fill his lane quickly. Center gets out to him. All right, he gets out to him and he's able to pick him up. And then I like how Alex kind of just slides in, follows in that lane, helps fill that in, and they limit that gain on the play. I really like, as I continue to watch it back, yeah, there's a couple like mistakes here and there, but when they're locked in, I love how those two guys can complement each other, specifically against the run, the way that they can cover field. This is one of the receptions Jeff Okudah gave up in this game. He's going to actually be matched up with the tight end on this play. But again, you get some man coverage here. Watch Malcolm Rodriguez take the running back into the flats. He gets on that quickly, takes that route away. Jeff Okudah, I think on this play specifically, he's just giving a little bit too much cushion. All right, he's unable to break down and get back to the football. See, he's kind of opened up on this play, and I think this is Dallas Goedert. He probably could be a little more aggressive here. They're also going to bring a blitz. They're going to bring Derek Barnes. Again, I like how they were utilizing him to his skill set. I think that's kind of cool because you find a way to use him, and you don't have, some guys in this game. So I liked how they used him in this game. But Okudah gets kind of opened up, and he's not getting super aggressive here, and he gives up. Good route run, though, kind of just to shut that down and pick up a few yards on that play. Here's one of those examples that I was talking about. So Aidan Hutchinson, he's going to be lined up to work potentially against their left guard on this play. The Lions, however, they're going to drop guys out. They're going to drop Alex. They're going to drop their edge rusher, Austin Bryant. They're going to overload this side. You can see 4 on 3, so they have their numbers on that side. And then just Hutchinson on the opposite side. Now, Hutchinson initially is going to come off the ball like he's going to get the quarterback, and maybe if he has a free rush, he would. But I think this is schematically what they're trying to do is he kind of pulls off and then basically tries to contain the quarterback. And I think you do that because if he just rushes upfield and shoots a lane, then Jalen Hurts has tons of room to run, especially when you're bringing it on this side of the field. You're kind of giving up room to run. So Hutchinson's going to kind of pull off. They're overloading that side so they feel like they have the numbers, and they do. You can see how this one gives a lot of pressure on Hurts, and Hutchinson now just has to contain. This is a 3rd and long, so he rolls out the pocket, throws it away. It may not look like, well, Hutchinson lost his rep or whatever, but at the same time, I think this is what they're trying to have him do, which makes a ton of sense. You got the numbers over here, so let's take the attention of the left side initially with our guys lining up, Hutchinson jumping off the line, but then let's drop him in to contain. Now we have our pressure. We're only doing it with 5, and still we somehow overloaded. You have 5 O-linemen, right? So just bringing 5 rushers shouldn't do that to you. But because of how Aaron Glenn utilized it, it does get pressure immediately, and you can see Aidan Hutchinson being utilized to drop there. I just like the play design. That's why I'm showing I like the play design. This one's a quick little one I thought I'd show. Just another coverage rep from Jeff Okudah, man. He just looks good, man. He looks healthy. Look at this. Okay, boom. You're going to get that false step. You see him off the line. He's at the top of the screen here working against DeVonta. I love watching Jeff Okudah play, and I'm so excited for the guy to see him healthy because I just think he's so darn talented. I think he's got so much upside versus, everybody that we have in this cornerback room. I think he's got so much to offer, and you can see the, boom, false step right there off the line. Okay, then he gets on top of the route. I don't know. It doesn't go towards him. I just like watching him play coverage. It just feels good. So I know you guys are cool with those clips being thrown in there. Okay, we're speaking of Jeff Okudah, right? We're looking at these 3 guys. This is one where I feel like Dan Campbell's maybe talking about like our force guy being too far off the ball. Example like this play, right? There's no one out here on this side of the field running a route or anything like that. There's no run pass option here. You have your tight end in line. He's blocking. So Jeff Okudah, I feel like they want him to kind of squeeze this down a little bit more. Still contain, but squeeze down a little bit more to keep forcing this thing back inside. He bounces outside. You can see all the room that's there. You're basically just giving them 10 yards on this play. So I think that's one that he was talking about. Okudah did adjust to it later. He makes the tackle, but with how much space he's giving, I feel like that's one where the Lions have been cool with, like, hey, squeeze down more on this, right? You got to force this back inside. Really understand like how this isn't, I don't know. I guess maybe this is one of the ones that they turned in for intentional grounding. I don't know how this is not intentional grounding. I really don't. And the Lions coaching staff look confused too. Either way, there's just a lot of good to take a look. Okay, so we got Alex and Malcolm again, of course, and we have Aidan Hutchinson. Let's focus on Aidan Hutchinson first, working against Lane Johnson. All right, and this is one thing that we know, like, okay, Hutchinson wasn't perfect against the run, but one of my favorite things about him against the run is how polished he was against the run. The Lions need a guy at an edge that not only could get pressure, but also could help you when the run is ran towards him. He needs to be a guy that teams don't want to run the ball towards. So here he is against one of the better right tackles in football, Lane Johnson. You can see it. Boom. Look at that push, that initial push into the backfield. Now, Jalen Hurts is going to pull that down. If he hands that off, nothing there. All right, immediately you kind of shut that thing down. He shut that thing down working against Lane Johnson. But he decides to pull it down. That's because he's watching Charles Harris on this play. He crashes in, he pulls it down. So now look at Malcolm Rodriguez, right? For Malcolm, I like how fast he can key and diagnose things and how fast he can see little movements. Sometimes it can get you into trouble, but what I think he sees here and how quickly he does this. Watch Alim McNeill, right? Alim McNeill gets inside. Alim McNeill's inside. If Alim McNeill was unable to get inside here, he would really have to focus on getting inside here because, of course, there'd be this gaping hole that Alex would have to try to fill. Alim McNeill gets inside. You also have Alex Anzalone out here. He can jump into that lane if that's where the ball goes. But he sees that, and immediately he keys that, and he's like, all right, look, I'm going to jump down, I'm going to scrape down, and then I'm going to kick outside. And Charles is out there, but Malcolm Rodriguez closes this thing off. I mean, that is a awesome play. That's just a lot of experience that Malcolm has had. He's just played a lot of football, and you can see it on a play like that. It looks like Lane Johnson's play is cool with Aidan Hutchinson going around. They're cool with that just because of how he's setting for this RPO potentially. Aidan Hutchinson ends up working around the edge. He decides to pull it down, and then he has some pressure and he throws it to the ground. I just feel like they missed an intentional grounding there. So you have Jeff Okudah. Look at his coverage here at the top. It's not bad. It's really nice. Working on A.J. Brown this time. A little bit of separation out of the break at the top of the route. A little bit. But, man, Okudah he's looking healthy. You see him open up his hips. He gets in the hip pocket of the receiver. A little bit of cushion there, but he breaks down pretty well at the top of this route. But with that said, the Detroit Lions got something going for them up front. And that is what we took a look at earlier. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Let's let it play. Boom. All right, now look. They're only bringing 5 guys on this play, but again, they're overloading one side of the offensive line. They overload the right side of the offensive line, and Aidan Hutchinson does something similar. So they're showing, boom, Alex. Okay, here, I think that's Charles Harris. They're showing these guys, so the offensive line has to initially be prepared for that. Then they drop out. Hutchinson gets upfield and then stops and kind of works himself into kind of a contain mode a little bit, I think. And then, of course, they come up with the sack there for Tracy Walker. First off, look at Aidan Hutchinson on the edge. They're going to do a similar thing to what we took a look at earlier in this game. But this time, they're going to pull an offensive lineman, okay? So they're going to pull their offensive guard on this play. And as you can see, Hutchinson, it looks like he's trying to squeeze down and take out that offensive guard to really clear that lane for his linebacker who's scraping outside. But he doesn't get contact with him. He kind of just dives inside. However, the linebackers are still there to make a play. Shout out to Alex Anzalone. You also have to look at Malcolm Rodriguez, and again, just how fast he kind of keys things like this, right? He sees the pulling offensive lineman. He's there. He's on this thing quick. So he's already filling in, and then Alex just has to kick outside. They communicate with each other. He bumps outside, so he actually speeds up the process for Alex Anzalone. He gets out there. I love the potential of these two to play together, and it showed up specifically inside the red zone. Here you go, another incomplete pass that got out pretty quickly. Is this the one where Charles, I'm like, what the heck is just take a look at this. So Hutchinson's going to get some push again with this bull rush. Look at Charles Harris on this play. This dude goes flying. Look at this. Have you guys... What? Okay, hey, I like it. It's creative. I like to match up with left tackle. He actually drew a holding call. I like his speed around the edge against their left tackle, so I like this matchup way better. Lions seem to do it a lot. But look at him. Are you kidding me? What? Okay, hey, I had to show it. I like the creativity, though, Charles. We see you. Hey, that looked like a vet right there. Well, he is a vet, I guess, at this point. And then on the right side, you have Hutchinson getting a little bit of push here pretty quickly. Boom. There's the bull rush. Again, sort of similar. Aidan Hutchinson is going to squeeze down on this offensive tackle. They're going to pull 2 offensive linemen. So you get that here, right? They pull their right guard. They pull their tackle. Hutchinson squeezes down. All right, so he really closes that room, and now the linebackers have more room to work. And of course, you can see how that takes the attention of these two offensive linemen. They see that, so they kind of pause. Malcolm gets to the outside, and he's able to get in there and make a play. And because of all the how much this play is kind of just slowed down from the beginning, Charles Harris off the backside is able to get in and actually make the play on the ball carrier. I think a lot of this, though, Hutchinson, boom, squeeze down. The offensive linemen kind of pause. They hesitate because now they don't have Hutchinson, who this first pulling offensive lineman looked like he was going to pick up. He's like, I'm going to pick Hutchinson. Next guy probably comes through, tries to pick up Malcolm. But Hutchinson gets off the line, boom, gets in the tackle. This first pulling offensive lineman is kind of pauses. He's confused. The running back is forced to pause. Charles gets off the backside, and then Malcolm Rodriguez is sitting there waiting for him on the outside of the pulling offensive lineman. Yes, so it's 2 receptions that Jeff Okudah gave up in this game. I thought it was 2. Okay, here we go. Now, the Lions, again, they're going to show a lot of guys. They only bring 4. And again, I love the creativity because we've seen this. It can bring 4 rushers and still somehow get a free rusher. Aaron Glenn can do that. And how does he do it? Well, he puts all these guys on the line, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys on the line. And because he does this, he has to sometimes throw you off. He brought 7 guys sometimes, and it worked. Here they show 7. They only bring 4. But look at that, what that leads to, right? Center gets the attention here, so he doesn't block Alex. Alex is basically free through. I want to see Alex finish this play. All right, he's got a running back here. I'd like to see him be able to finish this. Running back does a pretty good job picking him up. I like to see him finish that and not even allow this ball to get off. And then Jeff Okudah, of course, on the outside here, he gives up kind of a speed out to A.J. Brown. You can see he's opened up right there. He's turning open up, and that's just that's a beautiful route. But it is a good tackle, at least that. I mean, he did drive and made a great tackle, but it was a great route. You still like to see maybe the sack just finished off a little bit quicker there. You probably didn't hear Hutchinson's name much. I don't even know what his stats or whatever, if he had stats in this game. But this was a good play, and this should definitely probably count for at least an assisted tackle. I think it would. This is against an inside zone. So, again, this is Aidan Hutchinson's ability to learn. I think a lot he learns as he goes, and you can see how he's kind of picking it up from the first play to where he is now. He's really good at this, and he'll just keep getting better and better. He's a smart player. But watch him on the fly, right? Watch him see this on the fly. So he's got a tight end on his side. Boom. All right, here we go. Working against the offensive tackle. Now, it's an inside zone, so it's an inside zone handoff. So instead of worrying about the outside, he starts to squeeze inside. He sheds instead of holding. He sheds, gets to the backfield. He sees it's back there, developing, and he makes the play on the running back. Now this time they get outside on us. They give us with a little bit of a sweep play, kind of like a sweep play on this. They pull an offensive lineman, and you can see Hutchinson's unable to get off the block. I think one thing that hurt Hutchinson on this play is he's in a very wide alignment. Lane Johnson went up and got up on him. We know he doesn't have great length to really separate and create space. So when he gets up on him, now he's on his back foot, and he can't separate as well as he would like to, and he's unable to get off his block. And I think Malcolm does play a lot of how he kind of sees the defensive lineman is moving and where guys are filling in their lanes, and I think he plays off of that. This is one where I feel like right there, he got Malcolm Rodriguez, okay? I know he didn't miss any assignments, but right there I feel like he got Malcolm peeking a little bit. Let's take a look from the other angle what I'm talking about. So this turns into a quarterback draw. You can see they have a screen. They have a lot of guys on the left side of the field, and Malcolm takes a peek at that, following the quarterback's eyes for 1 second, and you can see how that leads to some issues. So right here, boom, you see how that pulls him out of the play. Now it leads to this blocker getting upfield. They also have a good just play formation set up here, and then he's a little bit behind. You get the quarterback draw, and he takes off. I like how he gets back into the play and ends up actually making the tackle, but you can see how just that little split second of just peeking get him into trouble there against a quarterback that's this dynamic. Malcolm and watch Alex, okay, boom, set the edge. You see Malcolm Rodriguez fill his lane as the ball is, the run play is designed, right? Design is going there. So he immediately fills his lane, and it forces a cutback lane, all right? So that's a good job by Malcolm Rodriguez, forcing that back to the backside of the defense where the play is not really designed to go right there. But as you can see, Malcolm Rodriguez kind of slides across the line, gets in the play. Here you have Isaiah Buggs on the inside. Hutchinson gets the outside. Malcolm fills his lane on the inside here, but Alex is kind of going to peek and watch a little bit, and all of a sudden there's this hole for the running back to get through, Kenneth Gainwell, and that's what he does. Alex is pulled out of the play watching the quarterback. So that's one of the plays where I feel like maybe he didn't necessarily just fill his lane, and he did a little bit too much, and it led to that kind of result because they have this backside cover with Elliott and Tracy Walker. Wait a second, watching the quarterback, I think Charles has this, okay, and I mean he should just get to his spot, but however he kind of just flows with the quarterback here. They have the backside contained, and it leads to this opening lane just running right through it for Kenneth Gainwell for a touchdown. Maybe the best play from Okudah. He had some plays in this game. This play was awesome from Jeff Okudah. Okay, they're going to run this. Again, they go to a lot of these tunnel screens, so they're going to bring their offensive lineman outside. But you just like how he challenges, right? He's physical. He's going to press him off the line. And because of that, Throws off a little bit of the timing. He's able to get there in the backfield. Boom, make a great tackle. That's a heck of a play. That's a tackle for loss for Hefe. That we know he can hit. We had a lot of big plays from him in the past against the run. That's an awesome play. It's one reliable thing about Okudah is tackling, and it's just the physicality that he is willing to play with. I passed over this play, but I thought I would at least point it out. Looking at Malcolm, again, just his athleticism. Again, I like how he communicates during the play with Alex, passing this off. Here comes a deep dig behind him. He's got depth to cover that. Now, it looks like here the Lions are trying to run. Maybe this is the play that Dan Campbell's talking about where they kind of run a stunt in the inside, and it doesn't really happen. So Brockers kind of comes around, and it looks like, I think that's 94, like Benito Jones. I think that's Benito Jones. And it doesn't look like he really pops out. So not sure what was going on here, but clearly they left a huge gaping hole by Brockers leaving and 94 not really getting anywhere. And then, of course, you have Austin Bryant actually rushing the edge on this play. There's a huge hole that they left here in the zone coverage. So something went wrong on this play. I would assume it happened here with kind of the stunt they ran on the inside. AB gets pressure, but there's a huge hole that they left in the zone coverage, especially in a cover 4 where they're all getting depth to take off. One of those plays where Aidan Hutchinson, you would say, probably got held up a little bit, or not like holding, but he got held up a little bit here rushing their left guard. Looks like he went to go to another bull rush here, and the left guard was able to get on his shoulders and kind of just lift him up and halt that bull rush, really stop his movement. But I do like the effort there to try to get back into the play, and that's how you draw holding calls. And I bring that up because there's a later play in the game where he does something similar and he actually wins, and it was a later rep. He doesn't actually come with the sack, but you just see his ability to win his one-on-ones. That's what you're looking for. Can a guy consistently win their one-on-ones? If he can, and he can win it from different positions, like we've seen him win against Lane Johnson, like we've seen against the guards now. He's not going to win every rep, but if he can win at different spots, it makes it such a nice little piece for the coach to utilize. It looks like they're going to go into a cover 2 drop against this kind of play action. A little bit of a rollout here. It looks like he's kind of lost. Initially, he kind of squeezed that inside, and for some reason, he's got the tight end. I don't know why. I guess because the quarterback's looking downfield, he turns his head and just takes off. I'm not sure what he was looking at there. He ended up making, well, he actually didn't make the tackle. He kind of got the tackle. He kind of juked there. I'm not really sure what happened there, but he looked a little bit lost in that cover 2 drop. I just thought I would point that one out. But, he's getting into it. I think the Lions will try to do this next week as well, or this week against Washington, because of just the matchups, if they can. And again, I think give him issues. You see that drive through the press there to really kind of throw off this route. You see how he went through the receiver. I mean, he's lunging at that. If he misses this press, he's in big time trouble. But he doesn't. He drives through DeVonta Smith off the line of scrimmage here. Boom. And he does the false jams as well, so that really throws off what to expect for a receiver. And then again, he kind of just slow plays it, gets on the inside here and just sits down with him, just mirrors the route, looks back to the quarterback at the break. He's a very technically sound cornerback. I really like watching him, man. So you see it, boom, gets him off the line, and then he kind of just look at peek back when the receiver peeks back like he always does. Then he finds him again. He's trying to plaster, and it leads to an incomplete pass. They had the same thing on the opposite side of the field. I just like how technically sound he is. You also got Malcolm Rodriguez here taking the running back out of the backfield. So there you go. That's pretty good, covering the running back. And you get some pressure and you throw it away. Well, one thing that's tough to run a screen against is man coverage. And if you're in man coverage, you're relying on that guy that's manned up, specifically here on the running back screen, to make a play on the running back. And that's exactly what he does. This is an awesome play. It's his responsibility here. They pass it off to him. He's got the back, so they set the screen. But he gets on this quick. He doesn't wait. He doesn't hesitate, because if he sits back, blockers are going to get up on him. He goes for it, gets around the offensive lineman just in time, and then makes a awesome open field tackle low, wraps up, picks him up off the ground, and he does a little shimmy thing afterwards. You love to see it. Let's get another angle of this just to take a look at it one more time. I just like how quick he gets on this, right? Okay, boom. Let me get around the offensive lineman. I love to see it. But it's a similar thing, right? So Aidan Hutchinson kind of gets into sort of this contain look. They're going to drop these guys. Hutchinson's kind of just sitting back, not going to rush upfield, sits back. Somehow, some way, this is supposed to be PI. I don't know. Maybe I can't see it. Maybe he pushed him a little bit at the top there of that route. It looks like he's running like a go or a fade route here. I don't know how. It's good movement skills off the line. You can see him in the press, open up, gets in a good spot. Maybe he pushed him a little bit at the top and did get his head around. Regardless, it was offsetting. It confuses me. I can't really tell maybe from the angle. I don't know. Look at Aidan Hutchinson earlier, kind of being walled up by an offensive guard. And on this one, I would like to see him like vary rushes and stuff, but I think he also rushes based on down and distance and situation. What rush should I go to? What lane do I need to fill? And this one, it looks like initially like, oh, he got walled up again. But that wasn't the case, actually. He doesn't make any play on the ball because the scrambles away from him. This is one of those examples where they bring 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. They showed it, so you got to bring it. They do it here. He's like, oh, snap, it's coming. But you can see Hutchinson gets inside. There's the bull rush. You see the extension. You see the push off, and then he gets to his rip through. He did it a couple times in this game, and now he's chasing the quarterback. Again, if you're in a pocket, right, if this is a normal pocket passer and he's got this one-on-one, he's not getting these double teams, these are wins, and you're looking for wins. Does he win his one-on-one? Boom, there's a win. There is an absolute win there from Hutchinson. I love to see it, man. As long as he's winning, you know that he's going to, down the road, be making sacks. It's going to happen because he's beating guys, and they have a great offensive line. We know that to do it, but we got to take a look at this big gain that they had. This is a third down. We get off the field here. We're probably winning this football game. I'll make it as simple as that. So Hutchinson's unblocked. You can see they kind of have a double team block going here on the inside. Let me see this one again, see what they're doing here. Looks like you got a double team block here. Where's their tight end? All right, they got the tight end on the left. Let's see. Okay, maybe more of a split zone here. But anyways, unblocked Aidan Hutchinson. Here comes the split zone. You can see how he kind of sidesteps that. And they're in a spot here to make a play on the ball. Couple things. First thing, it looks like Aidan Hutchinson basically just trips Derek Barnes on here because he kind of just dives at his feet instead of maybe going through the play like they would like to see. Also, Michael Brockers is kind of locked up here, and he's in a spot where you would like to see him maybe be able to get off this block of Landon Dickerson. And you could see here, like, okay, Derek Barnes, Aidan, like, go through this, right? And they're kind of just pausing and waiting. And they wait, and they end up basically tripping each other. Derek Barnes is unable to get in there. Brockers is hemmed up, and he takes off and has a big game. It was right there for him, but I think that's where Dan Campbell was like, man, we got to play through the tackle. That play probably stood out to him. He's like, dude, we got to go through this. Like, we can't just both stand there and wait, especially in a 3rd and 1. Like, go get him, man. Don't sit back. Now, I do want to show this one, however, before we end this, because this was an awesome play by Malcolm. My goodness, this was awesome. Look how he feels this. And then again, the tackle. Boom. I mean, he just halts him in his tracks. He just stops all movement at the hit. Just no more movement for the running back. Austin Scott on this play. Look at this. Boom. I mean, he just stops the move, man. That should have been a first down. He shut it down. Again, I can't really tell what's going on here in the 4th down play. But regardless, I wanted to take a look at some Okudah, Malcolm, and Hutch. It's exciting, man. And I'm excited to see Hutchinson against a different style of offense going forward. I think he cleaned some things up, learned as he went on. I think the creativity for Lions pass versus in-string. But this is going to be a defense where you got to be locked into your assignments because otherwise you're going to try to do all these things and you're going to just leave gaping holes for guys that are athletically gifted to just take advantage. And Hurts did that. There's some guys that maybe can't take advantage of that. Hurts just said, you know what, you're going to do all this crazy stuff. I'm going to take advantage when you make a mistake. And we made a lot of mistakes. The linebackers between Alex and Malcolm, you got to hope that that continues to grow and develop because I think those two could have a great chemistry together. And just seeing Okudah back is awesome. Yeah, he's got some things to clean up on. But again, you just hope with playing time, him just finding the field. It's just he's had so little playing time in the National Football League. He hasn't played in so darn long that he's probably knocking off some rust and stuff. But athletically, he looks healthy. He looks right. And just technically in coverage, he looks right in man coverage, right? The way he utilizes his eyes. I mean, he looks it. There's still cleans that are going to be cleaned up, but he looks back, man. He looks healthy, and I'm excited to see how that goes. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Washington Sunday. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.